Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Sari and these are my knitting podcast videos. A few days ago I started filming the 10th episode of, my knitting podcast, or the second season, and then I noticed that I had been talking for so long that I didn't have time to show you everything I wanted to show. And I had to go and get my son from daycare. But now I'm back. I'm gonna show you the rest of the things that I didn't have time to share with you, and I'm trying to keep this part of the video a bit shorter. So I will show you what I've been knitting lately, a few new designs. For example, this Empress top that I'm wearing at the moment, and some new yarn that I have. I already showed you some new yarn in the previous video. I talked about going to Berlin, going to Yarn Over Berlin for yarn shopping. I talked about making submissions and being rejected, and what became some of those submission ideas that were rejected. But I think a week ago I started a couple of new test knits in my Ravelry group, and one of the designs that is now being test knitted is this Quantum Shawl. I have showed you this one quite many times here on YouTube already, but it has grown quite a lot since the last time I showed it to you. This is the first side of the shawl, and here's the second side. So there are these sets of triangles that keep changing color, and simple garter stitch section in between. And like I've told you before, I'm using Yama Fibre Arts Merino linen for this project. This is now about halfway done, and the colorways I'm using is Ferrocin, the dark blue, and Champagne Blush, which is this light pale pink color. And I started the call for test knitters. I have picked my test knitters already. They have started to make their shells, and I'm planning to come out with the pattern at the end of August. So the test knitters are making their shawls at the same time as I'm knitting mine. This has already become that long that it's not that easy to take away with me anymore, so that's why I have started a couple of smaller projects that I showed you in the previous episode, like the top-down hat for my son and the headband. But this is something that I enjoy making during the evenings when I'm watching movies or something like that. It's a bit there's like always something happening, so it's like a bit kind of the kind of design that you kind of have to concentrate on, but in the end it's quite mindless at the same time. But speaking of mindless knits, I started making a new sweater, and as you can see, it's just plain stockinette stitch so far. Well, there's the twisted rib at the bottom, but this is going to be a really simple pullover in the petite style, like the no frills sweater or Stockholm sweater or something like that, but instead of being top down, it's I worked this from bottom up, and I'm using Knitting for Olives yarns for this one. Here are full skeins. So this is Knitting for Olives Merino, and this is their Soft Silk Mohair. These both are the rose clay colorway, and it's really beautiful, like this kind of muted dusty pink color, really like soft warm pink, and really like working with this because I don't have to think about anything. In the previous episode I talked about writing patterns at work and then just wanting to mindlessly knit during the evenings, but still kind of like the end game is to write a pattern. So this is my answer to that idea. So mindless knit, but if my idea works out, then I'm gonna write a pattern for this sweater. This started out as something totally different. I saw this really beautiful sweater from a French brand called Cézanne, and it has this like arched shapes with sets of bubbles that reminded me of Lily of the Valley, and I kind of like wanted to kind of copy that idea, to be completely honest. And in the Hitomi Shida's Japanese knitting stitch bible, there was like kind of the exact same stitch pattern, so I was thinking about using that. And I had already done the bottom ripping of this sweater when I opened my Instagram, and I saw that somebody else had made exactly the same sweater that I had in my mind. So it was kind of the exact copy of the Cézanne sweater, and the colorway was exactly the same. It wasn't the same yarn, but it was the same shade of dusty pink, and I was like, damn, I can't use that idea anymore. I don't want to appear that I'm copying, even though I came up with the idea before I saw the picture on Instagram, and well, just decided to scrap that idea. I still like the stitch pattern quite a lot, so I'm probably gonna use it for a shawl or something like that, but not the sweater, not anymore. So this was going to be like a really patterned sweater, but not anymore. Ideas change, things change. I've been using the Hitomi Shida's book for a couple of designs lately, but I don't know if I want to use that anymore. They're really popular. I know people love knitting them. I love knitting them. I love looking at them. But when you have just one book, even though it has, what, 250 stitch patterns, but when there are thousands of designers that are using the same exact stitch patterns, it gets quite boring to me. And if somebody first uses it and then somebody else uses it, it feels like they're copying the first one, even though they are not. And I showed you the headband. I'm just picking it up, it's still here with me. And I showed you this headband in the previous episode that I recorded, and I talked being inspired by that book. But like I said, you won't find this stitch pattern in the book, so I have just taken bits and ideas here and there and combined them to make my own pattern. Also for this pullover that I'm wearing, I'll show it to you better. This is also based on a pattern from the Hitomi Shida book, but I have changed it up quite a lot. I think it's still quite recognizable as the Hitomi Shida pattern, but still it's not like the exact copy that you find in the book. And even after knitting this one, I have noticed the same stitch pattern popping up in different designs on my Instagram feed, and it kind of feels, well, I don't know. It has made me feel that I don't want to use that book anymore, because I kind of want to come up with my own things and be unique, and I don't want to look like I'm copying everybody else. But this, if you're interested in knitting this Empress top that I'm wearing, this is now being tech edited, and as soon as I get the pattern back, or as soon as it has gone back and forth enough of times that there are no more mistakes in the pattern, then I will have the call for test knitters. This will have 3 different sleeve lengths. So I have this t-shirt version, but it's gonna have a version for longer sleeves as well as the sleeveless version. And I have written, I think I wrote 10 sizes for this one, so it's the most sizes that I have ever written for a pullover. And the yarn that I used for this one is from Knit 1 Crochet 2. I'm just trying to remember the yarn name. I have the worst I'm the worst at remembering names, so it's called Winter Blossom, and the yarn just came out, so it's available for purchase now. I will link it under this video so you can check it out, but this is soon gonna be available for test knitting, as well as Sora pullover. Just yesterday I sent out Sora's Sora pattern to my tech editor for a final check, so I hope I will have this available for you in just a few days. But this was knitted with Cosmic Strings Yarns, and the colorways are called, this is Grit, and the purple one is called Dusty, and this have this brioche pattern on the sleeve cuffs. Here, and then a 2-color brioche on the hem and on the collar. So this is something that is coming as a test knitter call for very soon in my Ravelry group. There are 2 patterns being test knitted. Like I said, one of them is the Quantum Shawl, and another one that is being test knitted at the moment is the Wayne Pullover, and this is one of my favorite designs. This is again one of those designs that I think that, am I being too boring? Am I being too obvious? Am I like rewriting a classic? Is this inventive enough to be called a sweater or a design? Am I really stupid that I'm like making something so simple? But it's one of my favorite designs nonetheless, and also this one, like I said, it's being tested, and the pattern will be coming out at the end of August, latest in early September, so just in time for fall weather. And yeah, the Poet Cal has been going on for the past few months. I made one week extension to knit along because so many people requested me to do that. They wanted to finish their poets, and here's my original Poet pullover knitted in Tukuwool Fingering, the colorway Runo, and this was published first in the Lane magazine, how you want to pronounce it, issue 6 that came out last autumn. And after the release, I heard that there were some mistakes in the charts. They came during the layout and printing, so it's really unfortunate. I just want to make sure that you know that they are not my mistakes, but these things happen. And when I got the rights back to the patterns, I published the pattern individually on Ravelry, and that version of the pattern has individual charts for each size, and those charts do not have the printing mistake that is in the magazine. And I have been in contact with Lane magazine, and they have promised to provide the pattern with better errata, because the errata is a bit hard to understand. And also when the second print comes out, all the layout mistakes will be corrected in that issue. So if you have bought the pattern, just if you have hard time understanding the errata for the charts, just send me a message, or send the girls at Lane magazine a message and ask about that. But during the Poet Cal, I've been knitting this mohair version of the Poet Pullover, and calling this Poetria. The name was suggested by one of my test knitters, and Poetria is a female poet in Latin, and I really like the name. So this is similar to the Poet, but as you can see, it has, here's the Poet, you can see the difference. It has slightly different neckline, and also the Poetria pullover has full length sleeves, whereas the original Poet has these 3/4 length sleeves with long cuffs. And of course, this is fingering weight, so it has more stitches per 10 centimeters than this one. So it's worked on larger needles than the original Poet, and so that means that it has less stitches per 10 centimeters. So it's quicker to knit if you're too intimidated by the original Poet. So this might be the solution for you. And the yarns that I used for this, it was done in collaboration with Knitting for Olive, and I used the same yarns that I used for the simple rose clay pullover that I showed you. But this mohair yarn is in the colorway linen, and this merino yarn is in colorway oatmeal. So that's what I've been knitting, what I have on my needles at the moment. I had a really big commission, a sweater, a shawl and a hat that I just sent out to United States a long way, and that's also why I've been knitting less my own things. I don't know why it always takes much more time for me to finish. I'm always such a time optimist. I think, okay, this will take me one night, and on the third night I'm still working on it, like 12:30 in the night. But anyway, I have more yarn that I need to start knitting, so I really need to get my act together. I usually try to buy my own yarns. For example, I bought the yarn for this pullover because I'm working for myself. The Poetria was done in collaboration, but I usually try to buy most of my yarns myself, because even though it's like free yarn, it's never really like free yarn. It always comes with some strings attached. You have to work on it in a timely manner. You have to publish great photos of it on Instagram, or that's expected of you. You have to come up with a great design that you will publish in a timely manner, and so on, so on, so on. And just kind of don't want to have that kind of pressure on myself. So I've been trying to, like I said, I usually buy all my own yarns, but lately I've been gifted some yarns. One of them is from We Are Knitters. I got to choose some pattern from one of their kits, and I chose this short cardigan. I kind of wanted something mindless to knit for myself. Like I said, after work I want to knit on something mindless, and I decided that I want to knit something like super mindless, so somebody else's design, and I don't even have to think about writing the pattern. So I picked short cardigan, and this like mauve, I think this was called spotted mauve colorway. It's like this beige, slightly pink color, really beautiful, and I have enough of these skeins to knit pullover for myself. This is the Merry wool from We Are Knitters, and the kit, of course, it has the pattern for this cardigan. So it's this cardigan here, this like oversized cardigan in garter stitch, and the needles. But because of the giant commission that I just mentioned, I haven't had time to start working on that, and also it's too hot during the summer, so I'm kind of like saving that for after the holiday and starting to work on it then. Another thing I got as a gift from Wool and the Gang, this Aurora raffia, their new raffia yarn, and I got a back pattern that I'm gonna knit. Actually, I started it already, but it doesn't look like anything, and I left it in Helsinki, so I can't show it to you right now. But this is my first time working with raffia yarn, and it's a bit different than quite a lot of different than working with wool or natural fibers or normal yarn. This is also natural fiber, it's 100% paper, but anyway, making the glory back with this yarn. And I have some more yarn that I will quickly show you here at the end of this episode. Some sock yarn. My friend is a Finnish podcaster called Nonnu Neuloja, and she is hosting kind of like the similar idea that this box of socks Cal, but she has this like Finnish version of that, and I asked if I can design a sock pattern for her sock knit along, and she paired me with a Finnish dyer called Ruskalehti, and Terhi from Ruskanlehti sent me 2 skeins of her DK weight sock yarn, so I'm gonna be working sock pattern for October, to be released in October with this one. This is the olive and this is the chocolate colorway, and Terhi was kind enough to send me 2 other sock yarns that she thought that were my kind of colors, and boy was she right. These are absolutely gorgeous. This is like evergreen forest, and this is called cognac, and I don't know which one I want to start working on with first. So in the previous episode I recorded yesterday, I said that we are going on holiday to Berlin and Majorca, and I need some holiday knitting. I don't want to take a big sweater project because we're only going to take our hand baggage, and it will take too much space in my bag. And also, who wants to knit a giant shawl by the pool? Nobody. So I'm gonna be making socks. So one of these, and probably one of these, is going to go with me on the holiday. I have one more yarn that I want to show you. I bought Hedgehog Fibers Skinny Singles. Back in January I knitted the Iris hat, which is one of my most popular hat patterns. It was the top-down hat with the mohair, and I used this same colorway. This is the Iris colorway from Hedgehog Fibers, and I absolutely love it. And for next winter I want to have a shawl that matches the hat, so I bought some more of this colorway. And I've been thinking about making a poet shawl, but I'm not quite sure if, because I kind of like how this these two go together. Both are like this brown natural shade, so I think this is a bit too different. But then again, it matches the Empress top I'm wearing, so I was thinking about making a shawl with this same stitch patterns using these yarns. But that's something that I haven't started yet, but I will start soon. The last thing that I want to show you, I bought this knitting needle case from Bliss Knitwear because it annoys me that all my circular needles are always really messed in my bag and falling out and getting stuck on everything. So this is really great for that, and I love the color as well. You're gonna be seeing this one on my Instagram account a lot from now on. But this is like really quick update of everything on my needles, everything being test knitted, new upcoming designs, my thoughts on submissions, my thoughts on knitting samples versus knitting for myself, and what yarn I have bought and what I'm gonna be knitting next. I hope you have enjoyed these 2 episodes, and I will try to... I have 1 more week of work and then I will start my summer holiday. I have 3 weeks of holidays. 2 of them I will be traveling, but on the first week I will try to record a new video before we go away. But until then, have a wonderful summer, or if you are on the southern hemisphere, have a wonderful winter day, and see you soon. Bye!